Now, as I did my study on Carlton Pearson, and shout out to Larry Reid, because Larry Reid got many different interviews um, throughout the years with Carlton Pearson, all the way up. Even on his deathbed, Carlton Pearson did pass away. He passed away because it's 2025. I think either he passed away last year or the year before, which would be 2023. I think he passed away in 2023. I can verify that for you guys. But anyway, Larry Reid, he has a channel here on YouTube, and Larry Reid is basically like the Christian version of Tasha K. You know, he kind of like, if there was just a dilemma in a church or with a pastor, he's able to go get the story, whether it be people close to that pastor or people or the pastor himself. You know, he keeps everything up to date on what's going on in like the Christian community. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, Larry Reid was able to get many interviews with him, and I was very like amazed. He's a very intelligent man. He's charming. He looks he doesn't look like the everyday person, but he liked clothes and he dressed very immaculate. His hair was always fly. He spoke very articulately. You could tell he was a book warmer. Every time he talked, you were drawn in, and there was something you could learn from him and apply to your life that day, that moment. He was so deep, but you could tell he was just a loving man, a very passionate man. You know, like he was very, very, very charming in all the interviews that I saw of him. So the thing that I was amazed by learning more about him and watching his interviews is that he was a televangelist, which is another way of saying like pastor on TV, right? He had a prominent role in in some of our televangelists of today. Y'all thought y'all was gonna get me, I got it. He had a prominent role in helping televangelists of today get established. For instance, T.D. Jakes, he was instrumental in helping T.D. Jakes, his sermons getting played on Christian networks over and over again. He made a call. He found out about T.D. Jakes, liked him, loved his messages, and called. You know, he still had connections. Called the network and said, "Hey, put this guy on repeat. Put this guy on repeat." So that's how he helped T.D. Jakes become who we know him as today. Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen. I've heard him talk about it a lot, how his father was a minister. He never wanted to do it. His thing was always behind the camera and stuff like that. And I think that's what he did a lot in the church growing up. He would be behind the cameras, learning and stuff like that. And I don't know the complete story. I don't know if his father was getting sick, but he was looked upon to take it over. But you got to understand that before that, Joel Osteen's father actually went to Carlton Pearson first and was like, "Listen, I need somebody young to take over my church because none of my sons are interested in it." You know, obviously years passed and Joel came of age. Different things had happened. You know, the father had now transitioned, and Carlton Pearson was telling Joel, like, "Joel, you can do this. You can do this. You can do this. And I will have your back, and the organizations I'm a part of will have your back." So that's how he helped Joel Osteen. And then all the way up even to Michael Todd, who Michael Todd has a church in Tulsa, Oklahoma now. Michael Todd's parents served under Carlton Pearson. Served is another way of saying like helped, aided in the ministry, because you know, you definitely need help dealing with all those people. Michael Todd's parents worked up under Carlton Pearson. You even heard Michael Todd talk about that. So I thought that was very interesting finding that out. But I just say that to say to just give some context to how big he was and how prominent he was and how loved he was in the Christian community. He was the Bishop Jakes of that time. The movie did not do it justice showing the church. It was it's an independent film. But the church they have in the movie, it's very small to compare how big that church was. You got to go back and look up old Carlton Pearson church footage on YouTube.